Chapter 7 Wish on a Star.
Red, welcome back. I'm glad to see.
I'm going to bed. Red didn't even spare Classic Paps a wave before heading up the stairs. The smile on Classic Paps' face disappeared. You found yourself feeling awkward, witnessing how these remaining skeletons were not getting along. Classic Paps was staring at the hallway Red disappeared to. Maybe I should leave before... Oops, too late.
Rita, thank you for getting Red.
Classic Paps said, grin returning as he approached you. You smiled back politely, already thinking of heading to see Sans and Papyrus to talk about the drink you had.
Perhaps you would like to see a movie together. I've tried to keep the tradition of great Metaton movie nights going, but having trouble since the others have stopped showing.
Classic Paps said, last words coming out softer. You wanted to feel sorry for him, you really did. But there it was again, an invite which never came before. An invite which was only happening because Tiffany wasn't here, and enough was enough. Classic Paps, I'm not sure you realize this, but you're kind of being insulting, you said, not feeling angry, but annoyed.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rita. It is a favor, isn't it? I can pay you $50 again.
No, that's not what I meant. I mean...
Oh, I see. Raising the price. Very well, human, but I won't go higher than 100.
Why now? The grin was gone again. Classic Paps blinking and looking completely clueless. Of course he was clueless. Did you seriously have to spell out the treatment you got around here? I lived in the mansion for 6 months, and not once, Classic Paps, not once did you ever invite me to movie night. Sure, you guys let me join, but I was never actually invited. You only seem to be doing it now because the person you want to invite isn't here. Now, the tall skeleton was staring at the floor, playing with his gloved hands.
Well, Rita, you do bring up a good point, but if I may interject, you never seem to want to be friends.
Excuse me? You said, staring at him incredulously. You suddenly remembered all the times you tried to do small talk with Classic Paps. All the times you hinted at how you thought a movie night was a good idea.
You never finished my friendship spaghetti, and Tiffany told me the truth. It wasn't because of allergies. It was because you really weren't interested in being friends.
Classic Paps said, crossing his arms and looking down at you, as if you were the wrong party here. I didn't finish your friendship spaghetti because it gave me food poisoning and I had to throw it up in the toilet.
Tiffany pointed out we never actually saw you throw it up. I know you're not really allergic and no one else got sick from...
Oh, screw this. Classic Paps flinched back as you moved past him. At least now you knew why Classic Paps barely spoke to you. Tiffany really did want all the attention on herself. And even after what she just pulled, he still believes her? Well, screw it. It was time Classic Paps got a good dose of hard truth. You headed to the basement, machine parts lying in careful order on the floor. You quickly grabbed a prism crystal, shaped into a heart, and headed back upstairs. Classic Paps had closed the front door, giving you a wary look at your return, as if you were some rabid animal about to attack him. If only he was so lucky. You were going to make rabid animals look like cute Pokemon. Everyone get out of their rooms and come down here. You nearly screamed, feeling your voice go a little raw. You heard some rustling movement upstairs. Blue was the first to show.
A boyfriend? Why are you...
Stand over there next to Classic Paps, you said, pointing a finger. You were not going to deal with imaginary relationships tonight. Even though he didn't have a throat, Blue swallowed nervously and did what you said. Red and Black showed up a second later, both giving you the same wary look. Understandable. In the 6 months you have been here, you never yelled so loud before. They walked downstairs while giving Classic Paps a silent, "What the hell's going on?" Classic Paps' own confused shrug showed him just as clueless. Right. So let me start off by saying I'm holding a very fragile and important piece of the machine, you said, letting them get a glimpse of the prism crystal. All eyes were focused on it now, instead of you. And if I were to throw this against the ground and shatter it, the machine could never be fixed, you said, blatantly lying. Actually, the prism was strictly decoration, something to make rainbow lights while the machine was running. The way their jaws went slack, staring at you with horror, though, they fell for it. But don't worry, I won't do such a terrible thing as long as everyone answers one question with absolute honesty. That's it. All you have to do is answer one question, you said, sweeping a pointed finger at them.
No problem, kid. Look, don't do anything rash. Just ask your question.
Red said, pulling at his collar. Sure thing. You can answer first, Red. Back when Classic Paps here made friendship spaghetti for the first time, how did it taste?
I'm sorry. What?
Classic Paps' very first friendship spaghetti. How did it taste? You asked, saying each word slowly. Red sweat drops began dripping down his skull. In fact, other than Classic Paps, all the other skeletons were starting to show sweat drops. Classic Paps himself looked expectantly at Red, smile back in place. Red appeared to shrivel under Classic Paps' happy expression.
Well, I mean, it's been a while.
You raised your hand high, positioning yourself to break the prism.
I don't know how the damn stuff tasted,
Red yelled, phalanges raised in the air. Classic Paps wasn't smiling anymore.
Red, how could you forget the taste of our very first friendship spaghetti meal?
Classic Paps said, hands on hips.
He's not saying he forgot. He's saying he never ate it,
Black said with a roll of his eyes. Classic Pap's eyes went so wide, he almost looked like a sans.
You never ate it? Actually, Classic Paps, I didn't eat your friendship spaghetti either. I'm sorry. Stretch said we should store it in the void to eat later. Only we, never bothered to pull it out.
Blue said, nervously pulling at his blue bandana.
I also didn't taste the friendship spaghetti. My taste buds can only savor the most refined and best foods there are, not the slop you were trying to shove at us.
Says the guy who thinks chicken should be burnt until it's a lump of coal before eating.
I don't understand. Did you all send your friendship spaghetti to the void? Yes, sorry.
Yes, not sorry. Yeah, pretty much.
What about your brothers? I'm sure Edge.
Nope.
Red interrupted with a sigh. Black and Blue didn't even have to say anything. Their downcast eyes said it all.
Well, at least my brother and Tiffany.
Nope. Sans voided his own and Tiffany's friendship spaghetti meal as well, you said, placing the prism crystal on a nearby coffee table.
I don't understand,
Classic Pap said, scratching his skull. You approached and gave his shoulder a pat. A part of you felt bad for doing this, but you were tired of being the scapegoat, especially when you didn't do anything to deserve it. Well, it's simple, Classic Paps. You basically decided to be friends with everyone but the one person who actually ate your friendship spaghetti, you said, turning and heading to the back door. You didn't spare them a glance before making your exit.
And then my boyfriend walked off like, all cool like, making this awesome exit.
It sounds like Reader is standing up for himself.
I know, right? I'm really proud of him.
Blue, do you know why he was so upset with Papyrus?
Oh, he's Classic Paps now. Now the other one gets to be called Papyrus.
My apologies. Do you know why Reader was upset with Classic Paps?
Well, Classic Paps had invited my boyfriend to see a movie that night.
Something he normally didn't when the mansion was more crowded.
Well, yeah, Classic Paps still wanted to see movies together, but I just don't like hanging around the others, and I think no one joined the night before.
Why didn't you want to hang out with the others?
I I just didn't feel like it, but if I knew my boyfriend was going to be there, I would have joined. It's just Classic Paps was never interested in doing friend stuff with him before.
So Reader got upset because Classic Pap's invite to do friend stuff only happened due to the absence of others.
Yeah, I guess.
Reader's feelings were hurt because he was only treated kindly because certain others were missing.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Blue, you only started calling Reader boyfriend after the machine broke and people disappeared. Do you think that hurts his feelings?
I know I messed up. I should have called him it sooner. It's okay. We can just pretend I said it before the machine broke.
Pretending something to be one thing instead of the other can hurt a person, Blue, especially when they didn't agree to the pretending. So basically, you outed everyone as not eating Classic Pap's friendship spaghetti, Sans said with a chuckle.
Brother, don't laugh. My cousin must be very hurt no one else ate his friendship spaghetti.
Papyrus said with a wagging finger. All three of you were in their cabin, drinking hot chocolate while sitting on the couch. Netflix currently showing the new Aladdin movie. Girlby's magical drink was fun, but hot chocolate while watching a movie with your friends was more your scene. Screw them. Don't forget they didn't invite us to the dinner. Or any others. Sounds like karma is finally coming back to them. Sans said darkly before taking a sip of his hot chocolate. You found yourself nearly snuggling against Sans's large torso, hot chocolate and body warmth making you drowsy. Normally, you'd be too self-conscious to snuggle with, well, anyone. But while you were proud of yourself for setting things straight with Classic Paps, you were also exhausted. Sans put a hand on your shoulder, giving you a squeeze. Him and his brother exchanged looks and nodded. You missed it, but you didn't miss the way Sans cleared his throat. So, Reader, have you heard of those singles get-togethers which happen sometimes? Like the ones posted online where singles get together, chat, and maybe exchange numbers if they find someone they like? Yeah, I heard of them, you said, yawning, tempted to sleep through the rest of the movie. Well, we, signed you up for one. Yeah, you don't... What?
Yes, the monthly gay singles night at the Star-Crossed Bar. Guys in their 20s and 30s invited.
Papyrus said, almost sounding like he was speaking in a commercial. You blinked stupidly, looking from one skeleton to the other. I'm going to say it again. What? The skeletons exchanged another glance before Sans turned to come face to face to you, the big red eye looking down at you with concern. Look, kid, it's like this. When you get Project Battering Ram done, it means me and my bro will be leaving to head home. And we're worried about you.
Yes, Reader, you're our best friend and we'll forever be grateful to you. But when we leave, we don't want you to be alone.
Papyrus said, last words coming out softer. Assuming we do get everyone else back, you know those jerks will ignore you again. Well, except for Blue, but considering he's acting nuts, I don't want him to be the guy you look to as a friend. We just want you to,
Try to broaden your horizons, meet new people and form new bonds. Connect yourself with others and have them connect with you. Hunt for friendship with a passion.
Okay, I get it. And you, think going to the singles thing would be good for me? You asked, suddenly finding your hot chocolate in your lap fascinating. Other than Blue, which turned into a disaster, you never tried to date before. You could see their point, though. Hanging out with other people would probably take the sting out of missing Sans and Papyrus. Just give it a shot, kid. If it doesn't work out, we can try something else, Sans said with a gentle smile. You'd think a skeleton with razor-sharp teeth, a cracked skull, and one giant red orb couldn't pull off a gentle smile. But somehow he did it while giving your shoulder a squeeze. You were never the type to check yourself in the mirror, or at least you used to never be the type. Ever since you committed to the singles meetup thing, which was happening tonight, you've taken an extra minute in the bathroom just to judge your own appearance. One of those said judging sessions was taking place in a restroom at college right after class. Then you saw someone else in the mirror who made you turn around so fast you almost got whiplash.
Hey there, reader.
Scott said with a grin. Dark hair and skinny, he fit the typical appearance of a student majoring in engineering who got straight A's in all his classes. One look at the guy would make you think he was totally harmless.
Still working with those fucking disgusting monsters?
Of course, appearances can be deceiving. I see you decided to come back, Scott, you said with a sigh, really not wanting to deal with this. You and Scott both applied for Sands' assistant position when he advertised it at the college. Working on monster technology under a monster was practically a gold star on the resume for future endeavors. Besides a brief job interview, the real test was a physics math problem Sands had everyone take. You passed, Scott didn't, and suddenly Scott hated monsters a lot more.
You shouldn't be so sensitive. It was just a note,
Scott said with a smile which looked way too fake. Scott's insult about monsters graduated to leaving notes in your backpack on how you were a fucking monster lover. Luckily, a security guard caught him one time. Should have been expelled, but he was good at sucking up and being apologetic when his academic career was on the line. So, instead he was sent to a sister campus to take a semester of classes. Look, Scott, I have enough things to deal with. Just leave me alone, you said, passing by him to get out of there.
There you go again, thinking you're so great just because they chose you,
Scott said, crossing his arms. Trust me, Classic Sans never went out of his way to make me feel great. Whatever, you said as you went through the door. You didn't want to waste time with the guy, and hopefully this would be the last interaction you two had. Shirt wrinkle-free, no stains, and deodorant working, you muttered to yourself, looking down at your clothes after stepping out of the car. The edge of a forest sighted from the building. The brick building itself looked mundane, except for a light-up sign of a shooting star. You already saw several other cars and people walking in. There were a few women, but it was mostly guys, no doubt coming to the advertised event. You were conscious of how you appeared to be one of the younger ones, just barely meeting the criteria to be part of the 20s group invited to this. Trying to swallow your nervousness down, you approached the front door and gave your name to the bouncer. A bald guy who sort of reminded you of Sans with his large size and big biceps. He gestured you in, and you found yourself already wanting to leave. It was too crowded. You could barely hear a thing, and the deodorant was going into overdrive to help you with the heat. Rainbow lights danced from the ceiling with a wood bar standing at the opposite end. You found yourself elbowed and pushed as others chatted with each other. You didn't even know how to start a conversation with anyone here. Hey, how's it going? My skeleton monster buddies signed me up for this. I'll get one drink, then I'm out of here, you muttered to yourself as you pushed your way to the bar. You were sure to be grilled by Sans and Papyrus, so you needed to be able to say honestly you did hang around at least a little while. Apparently, the bar gods were favoring you because just as you reached the bar, someone left their seat. You took it with a sigh of relief, waiting until the bartender came your way. A cute guy with wavy dark hair. What will it be? Club soda with lime. Not exactly living dangerously over there. The response didn't come from the bartender, but from the guy next to you. An athletic man with bright red hair, lit up with the bar lights, dressed in jeans and a white t-shirt. He was giving you a teasing smile. The bartender was already turning to fulfill your order. Hey, it works for me, and you should see what it tastes like at Grillby's. The magic-infused version is awesome, you said, still recalling the flavor explosion it caused. You had a magic-infused drink? The guy asked, suddenly appearing a lot more interested. Well, yeah, only once, but it was crazy. Here, let me show you a picture, you said, pulling out your cell phone. And that's how you were able to get into a conversation with someone at the singles event. He laughed at the glowing tongue you had and asked you how it tasted. His name was Brian, and before you knew it, You two were really hitting it off. He was a sales rep, dealt with selling food supplements specifically. You mentioned being an engineer major, but kept your assistant job quiet. Going into detail about a machine letting people travel to alternate timelines would probably make the guy think you were just crazy. Still, though, you two ended up chatting for over an hour. Hey, you know what, Reader? You really made me glad I came here. Now, how about we exchange numbers? You blinked stupidly for a second. Your expectations of getting a phone number was 0 before you had walked through the door. Did it really just take showing a glowing tongue to get one? Brian cocked his head to the side. I mean, unless you don't want to. Oh no, I mean, yes, I'd like to exchange numbers, you said with a grin, fighting the urge to slap yourself for sounding like an idiot. Great, let's definitely try to get together for a date.
There you are!
You hadn't noticed it. You didn't notice how the bar got quieter as you chatted with Brian. Neither you nor Brian noticed the large monster walking towards you, too engrossed in your conversation. It was only after Blue was right there, dressed in a leather jacket and jeans, that you realized he was here.
Who's this boyfriend?
Blue asked, putting a hand on your shoulder as he grinned at Brian. This was the first time you truly wished the ground would just swallow you up whole.